Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Nogaro in France. It's the opening round of the FIA GT3 European Championship, about to take place on a very damp circuit. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me here in the commentary box is John Watson. We've got Hayley Coxon down in the pits, and we've got plenty of fans up on the balcony and up in the grandstands and up in the old, well, that's the race control tower you can see up on the top left, and they're looking forward to, well, there's the air temperature. It's chilly, it's drizzly. Entertaining race ahead, John.
Yes, cold track conditions, high humidity, and track temperature not much warmer than the ambient temperature is, so guaranteed to be sliding around on the opening laps. Everybody will be this time clearly on the wet Pirelli tyre. That tyre is common to international GT1 as well as European GT3.
It's the Heiko Gravity Charouz team, Max Nilsson and Mika Vähämäki in that very good-looking Mercedes SLS, the defending champions from last year. That Heiko Gravity Charouz team. Thumbs up from the driver who's going to be starting, which is Max Nilsson, and he's going to be starting in 4th position on the grid. 3rd place on the grid is the second AF Corsa Ferrari. Michael Lyons and Stefano Guy will be starting that one, and Michael Lyons taking the start, so the young Englishman will be hoping to perform a little bit stronger than the GT1 AF Corsa Ferraris managed. They struggled in the wet conditions, but Lyons, having driven a Ferrari 458 in GT1, will know all about, in British GT, will know all about the rain. Mark Sword, very impressive performance from him yesterday, wasn't he? Because he's an older gentleman, shall we say, compared to some of the younger drivers around him, but put in an excellent qualifying lap.
Well, either that or he's just aged prematurely. I'm not quite sure, but he certainly performed outside of his age category. He did a stunning job, and at one point looked like he was going to take pole position for this first of the 2 GT3 events in Nogaro, but there is the pole-sitting car, the Mercedes-Benz SLS.
Maximilian Buch on pole position. He'll be handing over to Dominic Baumann after his first stint is completed, and it was a very impressive performance from Maximilian Buch. Let's hear from Dominic Baumann. In fact, he's down there on the grid with Hayley.
Dominic, tricky conditions. How do you feel you're going to fight up against the rest of this grid?
Yeah, we have a good starting position with number 1, and I hope we have the right setup for these conditions, and I hope he can give me the car as one piece. Then I think everything's fine.
Thank you, Dominic.
So, fairly confident sounding Dominic Baumann there. All his teammates got to do is keep it in one piece. Not much of a request.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a sort of a given that you would like your car to come back in one piece, ideally in the lead, and you have a smooth transition, driver to change and get back out on the track, consolidating your lead.
The sun's come out now, actually. It was being clouded over for most of the day, and so the sun is really showing up the water on the surface.
Yeah, the biggest problem will be the ambient temperature is low, the track temperature is low, therefore it's not going to get any aid to helping the drying process.
So, side by side going around turn 4, already forming up for the rolling start. The Heiko Motorsport Gravity Charouz team are going to be taking the lead. Maximilian Buch, look at that, he's got a massive lead going down the straight. Certainly the 16 Audi not too keen to keep up.
Well, you're meant to have no more than 5 car lengths between each of the cars on the grid, and that's, I would say, at best maybe 15.
The fans are ready, and we've got a green flag waved at the final corner, so perhaps this will be the start of the race. As they exit, is the safety car? No, the safety car has gone, so it looks as though we are going to get a start to this one. We wait for the lights to go out. The 2012 GT3 European Championship season is underway, and it's a good start from the Mercedes. Very good start from the Science Racing Audi as they stream past the 51 car of Michael Lyons coming up the inside. Is he going to make it into 2nd position as they head into the 1st corner? Yes, he is, and the race leader goes wide, and they're still side by side. And now it's the 16 Audi, Mark Sword, moving into the lead. Little bit of a mistake from the Mercedes, and Sword is through.
Yes, good drive. The Mercedes just overran in turn 1 into turn 2. Mark Sword saw that, read it well, and it's now the challenge between 3rd, 4th and 5th with Audi, Ferrari and the Lamborghini. And Michael Lyons getting slightly boxed out as he tries to make his way around the turn 5. Now everybody's got themselves sorted out, and the Ferrari, well, basically it's lost one place.
Yep, side by side between the two Lamborghinis, a little bit further back. But can Mark Sword hold on to this lead? Is there going to be a challenge from Maximilian Buch going down into the first corner? No, there isn't. He swings it to the outside. And is he able to drive all the way around the outside? That would be impressive. No, he is not. Heading into the double left-hander, this is a frantic battle for the leads. No doubt Buch will be frustrated that he gave the lead away so cheaply at the first corner as the Lamborghinis go in together.
Yeah, and then the Ferrari of Michael Lyons dropping back one more place to 5th place. Similar to what we saw in the GT1 race, the Ferrari not seemingly liking these wet conditions. Oh, the back end gets wide over the curb, and again just indicates how marginal the grip is around this part of the track.
Yeah, Maximilian Buch pushing very, very hard indeed, getting wide on the exit. He's already had a second place with Heiko already this year at the 24 Hours of Dubai. Very impressive performance there from the 19-year-old, but maybe his inexperience in the wet cost him down there at the first corner. There's the slide, and he did quite well to hold it. But there's the Ferrari in the background starting to come under a little bit of pressure now from the Lamborghini.
So again,
there they are.
Yeah, the Lamborghini looking to dive down the inside. Ferrari, for some reason, are really struggling in these slick conditions, both GT1 and in GT3. Michael Lyons has gone from starting on the second row of the grid now. He's dropped down to 6th place, and Ferrari fans will not be happy. This car, the 458 and the McLaren 12C, pretty much as close as you can get in every sense of their layout to a enclosed race car, whereas everything else is very much more a true GT car. But the equivalency formula that again applies to GT3 does not allow McLaren or Ferrari to produce out-and-out race cars.
Now here's the start. Look how racy Michael Lyons was.
Well, he was keen.
Look at him. Here, there he is on the inside line, challenging for the lead. Now we need to keep an eye out. Do we? I presume it was just a mistake from Maximilian Buch. Yeah, he's just heading wide. I don't think there was any contact or anything. But look, Lyons is third right there.
Yes, he did. He got up there, but he was overtaken very shortly. And going the long way around at this stage with the traffic, you just got to be careful. He couldn't afford to be forceful. Look at this, the Mercedes back on the tail of the Audi. Now coming down into turn 7, gets up alongside, but not really far enough to take the corner away from Mark Sword.
No, he's driving a very strong defensive race, Mark Sword, at the moment. Through the little kink at 8. And you can see every time he's covering the inside line. Well, on a tight circuit like this, if you've got the inside line covered, you've got to the chap behind has got to work very hard indeed to try and get past at any point.
Yeah, you've got to find the long way around.
So let's hear from Gregory Gill there. His teammate is leading the race. What does he think of that?
Greg, how can you guys defend your position?
Yeah, I think Mark defended his position. He's done a great job. He's done a great start as well. I think the Mercedes is quicker than us on a straight lane, but on a tricky corner we are quicker than us. Mark need to stay in this position, and I will finish the race in the same place.
Teammate to Mark Sword saying that he thinks the Mercedes is quicker in a straight line. I'm not really seeing that, and any additional speed was really due to the aerodynamic too, as the Lambo gets alongside almost into turn 7 at the end of the straight.
Yeah, nearly squeezed out of road there, Gilles Vanelay, as he continues his attack on the Amorim in that Audi little think up the inside line.
Amorim was aggressive in defending. He really shut the door at the earliest chance to make sure that there was no way that the Lamborghini was going to get up through. So he's aware of what's happening behind him, and he likes that. They're happy with that on the pit lane. Forcing the issue now, but not into turn. Has he got it into turn 12?
Well,
and lost ground consequently.
Yeah,
his own teammates challenging him now, and they're side by side.
Sledecker's through up the inside, so that half-hearted manoeuvre didn't pay off at all.
No, but they're trying to come back almost. Nearly can't. Don't ever take your teammate out.
They're looking nervous in the Lamborghini garage, aren't they? This could be a chance down into turn 1 actually, and he's moving to the inside line, but the Audi's got it covered. Sledecker unable to get past still, tries to keep on the power. Has he got the inside line for turn 2? No, not quite. They're stronger at every single part of the circuit, and now Vanalay's going to come back past his teammate. So these Lamborghinis, do they need to work together, John, or do you think they should keep battling with themselves?
Well, in a sense they are working together because they're putting pressure on the Audi, but inevitably if you're right under the gearbox of another car and your focus is on that, then you're determining your pace by that car ahead of you, where the car that's following can be a little bit more selective, and the two Lamborghinis right now racing each other and letting the Audi get away with it. Now here's a chance down into turn 12, gets the job done, or turn 11 that was in fact. Good clean pass, that's the way you make an overtake. You do it, execute it and move on. So now one Lamborghini ahead, now an Audi sandwich, and another Lamborghini looking to find a way through.
Yeah, into the final two sequences of corners, and very, very sideways from Nii Amorim. He now retains his battle. Vanelay had got back past his teammate, didn't he? So yes, it was actually Vanelay up into 4th place.
Yes.
My apologies. Vanelay 4th, Amorim 5th. Sledecka is now still in 6th position.
Oh, spin!
Oh, off goes Vanelay after finally making it through. They can't believe it in the Audi garage. He's had a... I didn't catch the start of that, John.
Well, I'm not sure if there wasn't the very slightest of contact between the Lamborghini and the Audi of Amorim, so we just caught it as the car went round.
But we've still got this Lamborghini versus Audi battle on the outside now. Going down into the right hander will be Sledecka. He got a very, very good run out of the corner. Nii Amorim is struggling like you wouldn't believe out there. But this is the battle for, well, ultimately for 3rd position, with that Audi just slightly up in front. Has he got the undercut going down into turn 4? The Lamborghini finally getting past. Yes. So Nii Amorim he was turning in and then had to back out of it. Here's the overtake, isn't it? So this is where Vanelay got past, and then Vanelay got past Nii Amorim, but then did he? Can't tell.
It didn't appear. I mean, he was on the inside of the 3rd place Audi. Didn't appear to be any.
And they're both off. 15 and 11. Jerome Demey and Philippe Sledecka have gone off somewhere on the circuit.
I think that's the end of the straight down at turn 7. No, it's not.
It's the king. It's turn 4, isn't it?
Turn 4, indeed. It is
turn 4. So,
and damage to the left side front. Those their bodywork, absolutely.
Wow.
The wing on the Lamborghini, the right front, the left front wing, down the inside.
No, he's alongside, isn't he?
No, not really. He was that no man's land, 3/4 way down. Maybe the front wing got level with the door, but the Audi had committed to take the corner, and there was the contact. But more importantly, the damage to the Lamborghini will no doubt see that car have to be brought into the pits and have the damage to the wing. There's bodywork damage on the air intake on the right hand side of the Audi. That's not particularly a problem, but the wing on the Lamborghini in the left front is a problem.
And those two are closing in on Nii Amorim, who's currently in 3rd place, just a little bit up the road. In comes Perez. Yes, does he cross that white line?
He clipped the white line. And he clipped it with the right front.
He's gone off. Oh dear, he's missed the pit lane entry.
He's not allowed to reverse. He mustn't reverse. He must now what are you doing? So you can't do that.
Perez reverses up the pit lane entry, and he crossed the white line and then missed the pit lane entry. Just like Coulthard and Hamilton back in the day. Coulthard 95 in Adelaide,
so
Hamilton 2008 in China. Bit of gaffer tape, that'll do.
Yeah, but they've got the carbon fibre front wing removed from the car now. It's a bit of gaffer tape, as you say, to ensure that all the other body panels will not detach as the driver change is completed.
Side by side down the back straight. Surely the Mercedes is getting the overlap. He's squeezing him. Contact down the back straight, and he's gone past. But that was a big, big moment down the straight.
Well, there was contact.
Look at this.
Just edging across, edging further and further across. There's contact. And again, that will not be looked upon favourably by the stewards, because that was a deliberate and avoidable incident. And that was intimidation.
Cars 15 and 12 under investigation. So that will be, that'll be Vanelay and Demey, that incident we saw.
And the car not in the pits for it, stop.
Yep, Dino Lunardi about to take over. But we've had the change of leader then. It is now Maximilian Buch who leads. Mark Sword is in 2nd place. Are either going to pit this time? No, they're staying out for as long as is possible by the regulations in FIA GT3. Here comes the number 11 Lamborghini. making up a position there, I think, in that battle. That's Gerhard Twareza. He's just gone past, and look, he's slicing past the cars on slick tyres.
That's the difference between a tyre, a wet tyre, and a dry tyre. So the Mercedes are both on the slick tyre.
Yeah, so Gregory Gilbert leads, as we assumed, but that move was actually for second position. He just sliced past him, and that number 11 Lamborghini, which has been really in the wars, is suddenly in second place in this race. Gerhard Twareza. Third position then is going to be the number 1 car of Dominic Baumann, we think, but he's still out on the slick tyres. There's Mika Vakamaki really struggling. Let's hear from Maximilian Buch. Have they got the tyre decision wrong here at Nogaro?
Max, do you think he made a mistake going out on slick?
It's so difficult to say, because some parts are dry, some parts a bit wet. But I think Dominic should manage it to stay on slick and make the best.
Thank you.
I mean, once the slick tyre gets the glimmer of a bit of a drying track, then they'll be up and running. But right now, it is still treacherous here at the end of the straight into turn 7. The Ferrari just drives up the inside without any pressure, and Mercedes unable to come back. They can't respond. Now, Baumann is not able to defend his position aggressively because he's got so much less grip than the Ferrari. Two Ferraris side by side.
That was Stefano Guy moving up into third place, essentially. I'm not quite sure. Now, the 50 car there, you can see behind, that's Giuseppe Ciro. Somehow he's down in 11th position. We haven't 2 laps down. I don't think we caught what happened to Giuseppe Ciro, but certainly things have not gone well for that 50 car, and all of a sudden he's down in 11th position.
Was that because Perez had that problem going into the pits? Overran the pits,
yes, he
had to reverse back,
yeah.
Not really permitted.
So now he's a lap down or so, yeah.
Yeah, he's lost time, and
yeah, good point. Drive-through penalty for car 11, spinning another car. That is a penalty that Gerhard Twareza is going to take after Philippe Sledecka came together with Jerome Demey earlier on in the race. So I don't think they'll be very happy about that, because that looked like a racing incident to me.
No, the difficulty you've got is if you're going to make a pass, you've got to make sure it's done cleanly.
Yeah.
And if you make a shot down the inside, in particular as it was into turn 4, you've got to make sure that you're alongside the car. But Demey was on the line, and he was turning in as the Lamborghini tried to push its way down the inside. The collision occurred, and Demey has been adjudged to being the driver who suffered from an unnecessary accident or unnecessary contact.
Here's the replay.
Again, you see he gets down the inside, but Demey is committed to the corner, and
it's front wheels or rear wheel.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I put it the nose of the car's up against the Audi's door. Demey was entitled to take his line, and the problem is once you're committed, as we keep referring to,
and a spin for the number 2 car
out of turn 14. That was exciting.
Yeah, Mika Vahamaki, and all of a sudden he's going to be coming under massive pressure, because only 0.4 of a second behind him, and now alongside and in front is Dino Lunardi. So that's a change for 7th position. He tries to fight back around the outside, but not enough.
Remember, the Mercedes is on slicks.
Yeah, and he's going to have a look up the inside into turn 3, but he's not close enough. But this 14 car's on slicks as well.
So maybe with 9.5 minutes of this race remaining, there's the slightest hint, and it might only be in 1 or 2 parts of the racetrack, not the entire 2.25 miles or 3.6 kilometres, that there is a dry-ish patch. And somebody could say, well, I did get it right eventually.
We're still waiting then for the drive-through penalty to be applied to Gerhard Twareza in the 11 car, but meanwhile Gregory Gilbert still out the front, still performing very strongly indeed. His lap times are not as quick as Gerhard Twareza, who's obviously been told to put the hammer down in order to build up the gap to Stefano Guy, and that gap is now up to 30 seconds. So there is the number 11 car. Surely it will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. And car 11 has now been black flagged. I thought he was taking his time to take his drive-through penalty. He hasn't taken it.
There may be no radio contact, but nevertheless you've got pit boards, the old-fashioned stick it out, let the driver see it. You know, if he can't see a pit board, I understand the radio. So that's not a good deal, ignoring a Black flag warning.
A storming drive from Mark Sword in the first half of the race. He defended fantastically against the Heiko Mercedes. A little bit of contact going down the back straight, lost him the lead, but excellent decisions in the pit lane from Side to Lock Racing. They're going to lock out the front row for tomorrow's race, and they're going to take a win in today's race. The checker flag falls, and Gregory Gilbert crosses the line. The checker flag nearly fell.
The bloke didn't even have the flag up. The flag technically didn't fall. Mark Stewart saying, "Oh, what happened?
You won, Mark. Don't worry."
But the flag marshal hadn't even raised the flag to drop it, to give it to the winning car.
Second place on the road is going to be Gerhard Tuareza, but he's going to have a little trip to the steward's office this afternoon. Checker flag does fall for him, so he finishes second, but he's been given a black flag, so surely he won't finish second, which I assume will promote Stefano Gaib into third place. Are you happy now, Mark? It looks like it.
Well, I think Mrs. Mark is more than happy.
Here comes Stefano Gaib then. It's going to be second position for him ultimately, once the stewards have had their way. Car number 16 is still under investigation for that. Oh, car 16 now. That's our race winner, is under investigation for a pit stop infringement, so hopefully that won't affect the story of this race. Checker flag falls for our second place man then. Third on the timing screens for Stefano Gaib. Best lap on that last lap for Dominic Baumann, so finally the slicks work.
Yeah,
as you say,
the transition is about a 38.39 and fastest lap 37.026.
The 12 car, Jesse Lane, crosses the line to come across the line in fifth, but that will, I think, ultimately be fourth in the Lamborghini. So the Lamborghinis started on the fourth row of the grid, I think, ultimately, so they'll be very pleased with a second and a fourth in that race. There's Gregory Gilbert coming around. Well, I guess he didn't see the checker flag, so he's probably come past it to make sure he gets the checker flag.
Quite rightly too.
Yeah.
He didn't get the checkered flag because the flag marshal hadn't raised the flag up. Even you could see his face going, "Oh, look at this." There we go.
Well,
there we go.
He says he couldn't hear the radio. I think I just got there. They're having this discussion. The car will be on, the drivers will be on the podium.
Yes. But
until
it's
the FIA make a decision.
Yeah, but these are provisional results, and until the FIA make a decision. Now, I've suggested maybe the radio was a problem, but he's got eyes. He's got somebody in the pit wall. I hope they've got a pit board. You don't rely. It is fundamental in motorsport. You don't rely on radio communication because inevitably it'll fail.
Yep.
It's funny, it always fails after an incident. Now, is that coincidence, or is that just me being cynical?
Let's see if we can hear from them, Gregory Gilbert and Mark Sword.
Congratulations, Greg. One win under your belt and another one maybe tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully we will win the race tomorrow. No, Mark Sword did a really good job, good start, and I just finished the race. We keep the wet tire, and I think it was the good choice because our tire is brand new. I'm really happy for the team, Saint-Eloque, and for us.
We know there was a possible pit stop infringement. Was it just a case of the timing?
Yeah, it was just for the timing. Yeah.
So your pit stop was too short?
Shorter than another team, because when you put the wet soft tire, you lose time on a pit lane.
Do you think you did anything wrong in the pit stop?
No, we did nothing wrong.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, he's very sure that they did nothing wrong, but of course he was out in the car driving, so that 16 car still under investigation. Up there, all the big decisions are being made in what is the steward's office up here at Nogaro in race control. 11 has been removed from second position by the FIA. Let's see what they think about that. They're down with Haley.
A terrible mistake made by yourself. Can you explain what was happening out on track?
Yeah, I really didn't know exactly because I didn't saw a drive-through or I didn't saw a black flag. I drove my race and I had a problem with the radio. It was out, so I had no connection with the team. And yeah, we have to look. I think the drive-through is because of the mistake of Philip with the Audi. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I did my best. The car was quite good, and yeah. Now we have to look what happened with this penalty.
Thank you.
It's our race winners, Marc Sword and Gregory Gilbert, get a massive round of applause. So trophies aloft, Marc Sword and Gregory Gilbert, absolutely delighted. Let's have a look at the classification, shall we? Audi win then, ahead of Ferrari, surprisingly, ultimately, because of the pace they showed in the damp conditions early in the race. They managed to make their way through, cunning pit stop strategy from Lyons and Guy to finish second. Mercedes third, Lamborghini fourth, so 4 different manufacturers in the top 4. Then the second Audi, Jeroen de May and Dino Lunardi will be happy, despite their incident, to end up in 5th position. 6th place for the second Heiko Motorsport Mercedes, Max Nilsson and Mika Vähämäki. Niamarim and Campanico, the first people to gamble on the drives, didn't work out for them. They were running in 4th position, finishing down in 7th place. Toril and Ryabov in 8th place. So the stewards up there having a busy day, and there are our 2 race winners. Excellent performance from them. So from me and John Watson, Haley Coxon in the pits, it's a very goodbye. Good afternoon, everybody, and well, good morning, I should say. Very early in the morning here, 9:30 a.m. local time for the FIA GT3 European Championship. Second race of the season and second race of the weekend. The weather forecast said that it would be 17 degrees and beautifully sunny, but I think they may have been a bit wrong so far. Here you can see the calendar then, a good strong calendar for the GT3 Championship. We're off to Zolder in 2 weeks' time, Navarra in May, Algarve in Portugal in July, Moscow and Zandvoort towards the end of the season. We had plenty of excitement yesterday, plenty of action in the race, a very, very slow form-up from the Audis. So it's Gregory Gilbert in the red Audi on the inside, Dino Lunardi alongside him on the outside as we get ready for the lights to go green. The second round of the 2012 GT3 European Championship is underway, and it's a very good start from the pole sitter, Gregory Gilbert, holding the lead, but once again it's a good start from the Ferrari. Trying to nose up the inside there is Stefano Guy. He is not quite able to do it. The 2 Audis hold in there, line astern and a spin for the 5 car. It was an excellent start for Kirill Ladygin, but unfortunately he has spun off at the first corner as they head down into turn 4 now.
The 2 Audis consolidated the advantage they had in the front row. The Ferraris behind look challenging, but they've also got to worry about a Mercedes getting now close to them, plus that number 11 Rainer Leibhardt Lamborghini.
Dominic Baumann, I think, may have got alongside one of the Ferraris coming out of turn 5. They're heading down there. Yes, he has. So that means Dominic Baumann, you can see there in the Mercedes, up into 3rd position. He's having to go defensive on the run down. Also, one of the Lamborghinis has split the Ferraris. So it's been a difficult start to this race for AF Corsa. It is Gerhard Twereza in the 11 Lamborghini that you said was one to watch for, John, and he's made progress immediately.
And of course, so is Dominic Baumann as well, to get the Mercedes ahead of those 2 AF Corsa Ferraris, which of course we know are quick in a straight line. But again, there's the issue about getting tire temperature and having comfort, feeling that the car is actually working for you. Now the second of those AF Corsa Ferraris coming under pressure from the number 2 Mercedes.
Yep, Stefano Guy starting to come under pressure from Mika Vähämäki.
He's having to go very defensive on the run out of turn 12 up to turn 13. So both Ferraris at the minute, right, I think they're struggling with a little bit of traction, a little bit of grip, whereas the Audis and the Mercedes in 3rd place are able to pull away. They've just got about a second plus of a gap as they come up to compete on that one.
So the order at the moment is Dino Lunardi, then Gregory Gilbert. So has the leaders swapped round then, because it was Gilbert who got the best start and took the lead going into the first corner. There you can see on the inside the red machine of Gregory Gilbert holding the lead, but as they came across the timing screens, it looked as though that order has changed. We'll confirm that in a minute. The order has changed.
Yes,
Dino Lunardi is out of the front. Let's see if we can see what happens to the Ferrari in the back. Oh, just a little tap from the Nova driver Audi, and unfortunately I think that's going to be beached in there.
That's in the gravel, and it's not coming out without assistance.
Here comes Gregory Gilbert moving towards the inside of Dino Lunardi, trying to take the lead down into the hairpin. The 2 Audi teammates side by side, and Gilbert is back through into the lead. Lunardi tries to get the cutback, not close enough. This could all play into the hands of Dominic Baumann in that third place Heiko Motorsport Mercedes, because he now is getting involved. Nervy looks from the Audis with the two teammates battling each other.
Yeah, the Mercedes looks much more comfortable. Certainly the third place Mercedes that we're watching of Dominic Baumann, and putting a big challenge right now on that number 15 of Lenardi, and so on the turn 12. Again, nothing you can do in this part of the track. You just got to wait, position yourself. There's about 2 opportunities you can get to put the nose of your car alongside something else. Let's look again. Defence on the straight, but just the momentum right now from Lenardi to get ahead of the what was the lead Audi at the end of lap 3.
So Gregory Gilbert, the 2009 Peugeot Spider Cup champion, moves into the lead of this race and immediately has asserted a 1.1 second advantage in just half a lap, really. You can see how big the gap has become already. And now Dino Lenardi is going to have to look in his mirrors for Dominic Baumann behind. 4th place is still Giuseppe Ciro, 5th for Stefano Guy, and 6th for Mika Vähämäki.
And this is where the Mercedes is going to make its attempt to take that second place away from Dino Lenardi as they come onto the straight. The Mercedes was right on the tail of that Audi there. You see the 2 cars coming down the straight. Lenardi staying on the left-hand side of this track, not being defensive. Mercedes tries to get alongside, does do an easy overtake, a clean one, but a relatively easy one.
Yeah, that was a very good overtake. It looked as though the Mercedes was really struggling to get the car stopped in time, but respect to Dominic Baumann, he pulled that off fantastically, because he's not massively alongside, is he, going into the braking zone, and he really leaves it late. Fantastic racing.
Dino Lenardi, he could have made it a lot more difficult. He could have done what we had seen yesterday with Mark Sood. He could have plonked that Audi on the right-hand side of the circuit and driven all the way down, but he chose to do what maybe is the correct thing in terms of a motor race, and just let, if a car's quicker than me, he can get past. The Ferrari looking now to make a last-minute lunge down the inside. Can he get it? He's got it alongside. He's done it.
Good move there from Giuseppe Ciro, and once again Dino Lenardi perhaps not defending as much as he possibly could have, as we saw yesterday in comparison with Mark Sword. But Giuseppe Ciro saw the gap, felt he was braver on the brakes, and dealt with it nicely. Again, he wasn't alongside coming into the braking zone. It was all done on the brakes.
Yeah, I mean, Dino Lenardi gave up that second place to Dominic Baumann's Mercedes-Benz, and he's now given it up to the Ferrari of Giuseppe Ciro.
He's starting to close in now as they head down the back straight. He got his nose up the inside into turn 5, but it's not really an overtaking opportunity. Is he going for that on the brakes? He is! Oh, I thought there was going to be a bit of contact there. Very late on the brakes from Dino Lenardi. Just about got it stopped in time. Pit stop window opens in 10 seconds, so are either of these two going to take a bit of a gamble on making a stop first to try and get the advantage of a fresh set of tyres? They head down towards the double right-hander.
Either the Ferrari on this lap has suddenly lost time, lost grip, or Dino Lenardi has woken up and realised, oh, by being a racing driver on my job description, whatever, it involves actually racing, not just driving. And suddenly this last lap, lap 18, or lap 17 we're on actually, it looks as if he's doing what he should be doing, the job description. Again, close to the Ferrari out of turn 14, looking to make a move up into turn 1, again getting the Ferrari inside, but no, he has got it. He did it, but he blew the Ferrari.
The Ferrari still at the inside for turn 2, but that was a very brave move indeed from Dino Lenardi. It paid off beautifully, and he moves up then into that third position. The AF Corsa team looking a little bit sad as well. They might, because Dino Lenardi with a very brave move into turn 1. That was almost a case of, I'm putting my car here. If you want to have an accident, then you're going to turn in. There comes Michael Lyons getting in the car then, he and Stefano Guy, the first team to pit, AF Corsa. And let's see what Michael Lyons can do. Look at that, he just forced his way through, really.
Yes, he did. I mean, suddenly we've seen Dino Lenardi become a racing driver. Previously we saw him doing a very good job but not looking particularly racy. There was what you expect a racing driver to do. Just watching the lead car, it's still out on track. There's no urgency, and the pit window's open for another 7 or so minutes. But this lead car lapping at the minute approximately a half to a second quicker than the field that is still out there, as opposed to those. The second place Mercedes has come in for the driver change there. In fact, that's the Baumann car going out now with Maximilian Buch on board. So there's no need for this car to come in. It's still got the pace. It's still running quicker than anybody else out there, and consequently they've got the flexibility of choosing not so much when to come in, but to make sure that when they rejoin, they're rejoining in clear air. And that will be the thought now from the Audi, the Belgian Audi racing team.
Giuseppe Ciro, in he comes, and he's going to hand over to Gaetano Ardagna Perez, who hops into the of course, a Ferrari, and does the belts up, and they all seem fairly relaxed down there. There is, of course, a minimum pit stop time because they don't change tyres in FIA GT3. We've got one of the Lamborghinis in too. There's our race leader then, Gregory Gilbert. Is he going to make a pit stop this time around? Surely he must.
I believe he will be in this time around, and we're coming up through turn 11 and into turn 12, and there's Mark Seward with his drinks bottle, just getting a little bit of last-minute liquid on board. So the lead Audi will be in, and a driver change will take place.
Of course.
Oh,
a stall there for Ardagna Perez. Gets it going eventually. Definitely this time around, Gregory Gilbert will be in.
Yeah, because there's a minute literally as we come out of turn 12 before the pit lane shuts, and in fact first and second Audis will have to make a pit stop now, otherwise they will be excluded. He pulls, brings the car in, and so a lead driver change for the lead car. There's the second place Audi. It will also peel off on the exit of turn 14 to make its mandatory pit stop. There we go. So watch that white line. Dear me, do these guys not read the rule book?
Well, we have seen penalties so far this weekend for people crossing that white line on pit entry. Marcus Winkelhock was docked 3 grid places in FIA GT1. Here come the changeovers for the Sinterlock racing cars, and this will be interesting actually, because they were 14 seconds apart I think on the road, so 13.3 seconds apart on the road, so it should comfortably be Mark Sword heading out first.
There we go.
They've got their mandatory pit stop time to wait for. You can hear cars revving up and down the pit road, but a fairly leisurely pit stop. And you can see the chap there with the stopwatch. The pit stop window closes whilst these 2 Audis are still in the pits. And eventually, Mark Sword, after what will feel like a very, very long wait, will be heading out, and he hopes back to resuming the lead of the race. The closest car is going to be that number 2 machine. There's the number 1 car of Maximilian Boot coming across the line. And Dino Lenardi's ahead. Yes,
absolutely. That is unreal. DeMay into that blue Audi as Mark Seward, so there's been a swap over in the pit lane.
And the Mercedes goes past.
Absolutely.
The number 1 Mercedes goes past as well.
It did.
But yeah, so Maximilian Buch and Dominic Baumann have suddenly leapfrogged both the Audis as well. We'll have to wait until the end of this lap for it all to filter out on the timing screens, but it looks like that's what's happened. There's the equivalent of the success ballast added to the pit lane time. If you had a strong result yesterday, which the 16 car did, you have to spend longer in the pit lane. So as a penalty for doing well yesterday, and this could be the chance. Up the inside goes Mark Sword, late on the brakes. Didn't leave him any room there, did he?
No.
The door was firmly closed.
I mean, Mark Sword looked like he was confident he was going to get the corner, and without doubt Jerome Demey decided no.
And this battling means that on that last lap, Maximilian Buch at the front was able to pull out 2 seconds on these, and it's a drive-through penalty for car 51. Stefano Guy now in the hands of Michael Lyons for white line at the pit exit, not entry.
No, and but we did see the lead of these 2 Audis also going blatantly across the line at the entry into the pit lane. We didn't see Michael Lyons' transgression, but obviously the stewards are aware of it, and a drive-through is not going to do very much for that particular car.
Drive-through penalty for car 15, Jerome Demey. We saw them cut the pit lane entry, and they've been given a drive-through. We've got damage. A spin, and a damage as well. For the number 5 car, that is Vyacheslav Maliv, and Mark Sword is through. So Mark Sword made it through. Presumably he was let through because the 15 car knew he was going to have a drive-through penalty, and that's a strange place to have a little off, isn't it?
Yeah,
yellow flags will be out there.
Not a good place for the car to be on the racetrack. Just marshals running to get out of the way, because this will probably see a safety car, I suspect.
Well, they're going straight for the
live
snatch.
Yeah, they got the snatch cable. So there, the Mercedes now right on the gearbox of the car that's going to have to make a drive-through for that driving over the white line at the pit lane entry. We picked it up at the point it happened and has taken the stewards a couple of laps to issue a penalty. So let's look and see what happened, how Mark Stewart got past the car of Jerome Dumais, and it was basically easy. That was a team almost. You could imagine the radio message had gone out to Jerome Dumais to say let him get through as cleanly as possible.
There is Michael Lyons taking his drive-through penalty. He was in 6th position. That's going to drop him down the field. Here then is a Audi and a Ferrari. So this is these are the two men who have taken their drive-through penalties, and they've come out right together. So this is going to be a battle over 5th position ultimately. I think Dumais has taken his drive-through penalty. Michael Lyons up the inside, backs out of that one quite early. It looked like he was far enough alongside.
I thought Michael Lyons had the momentum to force the issue. Clearly Michael, from the driver's perspective, was being cautious and didn't want to sort of put himself again into that. He's just had a drive-through penalty for a pit lane exit transgression. He didn't want to put himself into that situation of not being quite far enough up on a car that was involved in an incident like that yesterday. Now coming onto the straight, under the rear wing, can he maintain the momentum? He'll certainly have a look down the inside. In fact, he gets out of the slipstream and draws alongside the Audi as they come down the main straight into turn 7, and has taken that position away. But watch the Audi, is it giving it up? Yeah, he had to do it.
So Jerome Dumais picked up 1 podium in FIA GT3 last year, the 28-year-old, but struggling to find the pace this morning, and he loses out that 5th position then. So we've now got Maximilian Buch leading. What were the lap times like last time? Mark Sword, despite now being in clear air, I don't think is really able to close the gap at all. No, he was half a second off the pace. So this looks like it's this man, Maximilian Buch, in the reigning champions Heiko Motorsport car. Looks like he's got this one fairly much in the bag with 15 minutes to go. Into turn 1 they come. Oh, little look up the inside from our Dagna Perez, I thought there for a moment. Did they close in at all on Mark Sword on that last lap? No, they didn't. They lost a bit of time. So it looks as though Sword is fairly comfortable in that 2nd place for now, unless our Dagna Perez can get through very quickly. Max Nielsen is driving a very long and now very wide Mercedes. Meanwhile, up at the front, Maximilian Buch is flying.
Yeah, and he's got 21-second advantage over Mark Sword in 2nd place in the Audi, running 1:29 high, 1 minute 29s, where those all around are now dropping into the 1:32s and 33s. So clearly there was a battle goes down on defence again from the Max Nielsen Mercedes. Ferrari is alongside. Has it got the... Yeah, it has. He's got the car. Oh, side by side. But he'll have the inside for turn 8, so there's no cutback available for the Mercedes.
No, it looked like a little bit of a dummy there, and there's Mika Vähämäki. Doesn't look too pleased that they've just lost that position. Yeah, he moved to the outside, and I don't think that Max Nielsen was expecting that attack up the inside, but with less than 10 minutes remaining now, Dagna Perez moves up into that 3rd position. Does Nielsen have any response? I'd be surprised, considering the pace he's shown. Maximilian Buch is our race leader in the number 1 Heiko Motorsports Mercedes. He is lapping some 2 seconds quicker than the rest of the field, apart from Michael Lyons, who's also on the lead pace. So Lyons is racing very nicely indeed. There you can see 2nd place Audi Mark Sword, 3rd place Dagna Perez, and it was 0.6 of a second that Dagna Perez took out of Mark Sword on that last lap, despite making an overtake. So it may not be battle over for 2nd place either.
Looking to come up the inside into turn 2 again, looking very, very racy. Clearly the Ferrari right now has got the pace that the Audi has lost.
But don't forget, Mark Sword has 40 years of racing experience to put into play. We saw him do it very effectively yesterday, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're about to see the Mark Sword line down this back straight.
Well, the Ferrari again, you see, coming out of turn 5. But you know what's great? The driver of Mark Sword's experience, tweaking the tail of a much younger driver, but now the Ferrari is up alongside the Audi. It was inevitable it was going to happen. Clearly it's got more grip than the Audi has. Audi's got good straight line speed, and Mark Sword's not giving it up.
Wow.
As you see, the Audi's straight line speed brought him back.
Fantastic from Mark Sword. It looks as though the Ferrari had that one in the bag. He was well alongside going into the braking zone, but Sword holds on around the outside. I was surprised we didn't see Sword go straight to the defensive.
Can you say that the Cavallino, the prancing horse of Italy, was let down by its oats last night. It didn't get fed enough of the oats to enable it to pass the Audi.
The Audi ring's definitely holding on at the moment, up to turns 13 and 14, and this is all allowing Max Nielsen to close in as well, and Michael Lyons is in tow, but I think it'll be a tough ask for Michael Lyons to join the party before the end of this race. 4.5 minutes to go.
Watch the Ferrari now into turn one, going to try and get up the inside. Yes, he's got it, and having taken the lead here, it'll be very difficult for Mark Sword to come back. The strength of the Audi, as we've seen over the 2 days, has been principally in straight line performance, but now the Ferrari is through, he will have the advantage through this turn 4, through turn 5, where we saw it was clearly stronger than the Audi. But Mark Stewart's not giving up. You know, he knows his best shot will be to come back on the straight. The key will be, can he get off 5 well enough to get into contact with the Ferrari? And as we look at it now, no. It's a second place to the Ferrari, and Audi are going to have to accept third place, but they're going to be challenged by the Mercedes behind. Let's look again.
Yep, a good move going down into turn 1, had a better exit out of the corner, and as a result made the move stick, but we're still going to have a 3-way train to try and sort out third position in this race. Oh, it's got on the grass on the entry into turn 1. Bit of a rookie mistake there from Max Nielsen, and the Ferrari is through.
Yeah, I mean, that's just fundamental. You don't do something like that, whether that was simply the pressure or whether it was concentration, but the pressure and the concentration are fundamentally the same thing.
So Max Nielsen loses out on that third position. Look at this, he just clips the grass going into the first corner.
Yeah, somewhat of a schoolboy error, but that error has cost him dearly, and he's lost the position he was defending, and at the same time trying to attack the third place of Mark Stewart. Now it's going to be Michael Lyons, he races in Japan. Michael Lyons is going to put pressure on Mark Stewart, and the pace of that Ferrari, the second of these 2 red cars, it could be 2 Ferraris on the podium, and it will be 2 Ferraris on the podium.
He got through down into the hairpin past Mark Sword. We were watching Gaetano Perez, but now up into third position has gone Michael Lyons. So I can't believe how much pace these Ferraris have found. Now the sun's come out a bit, the fog has lifted, the Ferraris are in dreamland.
And this, in my view, will be the last lap of the race. We wait to have confirmation of that. Well, final lap, there we are.
The little chap on the marshal's post held up 1 lap remaining, and is that 1 lap going to be enough for Michael Lyons to complete what would be a magnificently impressive drive, considering, John, he had a drive-through penalty at the start of his stint, and he still managed to find his way back up into third, possibly second.
I know, just a simple little careless error running over the white line and the pit lane exit. That car certainly could have been guaranteed a second place.
Yep.
It probably wouldn't have been close enough to challenge the Dominic Baumann car right now. It nevertheless would have put that Ferrari much closer to the Mercedes-Benz if they hadn't to do that drive-through penalty.
But here they come into turns 3, then into the long turn 4, and these 2 AF Corsa Ferraris are right together. Michael Lyons has very definitely got a shot of nicking second place. Out they come into the left-hander at turn 5.
You have to think that Michael Lyons, with his experience of British GT racing, has got to be the stronger of these 2 cars. Now, whether there's anything, if you can see him flashing on the headlights to say, I've got the momentum, I might be coming through.
Meanwhile, out of the final corner comes Maximilian Buch. He is going to take the win for Heiko Motorsport. The checker flag falls for him. The teammate Dominic Baumann delighted on the pit wall. How is the AF Corsa battle faring? This is the last chance into this double right-hander. Gaetano Perez knows it, and he is going to very harshly defend, covering the inside line as he's perfectly entitled to do, and I think that's going to give him just enough advantage to hold on to that second place. Michael Lyons doing everything he can to force him into a mistake. Into the final 2 corners they come, and Gaetano Perez in the car started by Giuseppe Ciro is going to take second place, just about ahead of a storming drive from Michael Lyons.
Yeah, super race between the 2 AF Corsa Ferraris. Teammates conscious again, don't take your teammate off. Good defense from Gaetano Perez, and well, we saw Michael Lyons a storming drive after having to do that drive-through penalty, and it probably took the best part of 20 seconds, maybe even up to 30 seconds. Well, but certainly would have put him into contention for a battle for the lead.
But the race win for the Heiko Gravity Charouz team, the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, Dominic Baumann looked pretty Maximilian Buch it was who we interviewed when Dominic Baumann was out, looked pretty confident that they'd have the advantage in the pit stops and in ultimate pace, and so it proved to be. Maximilian Buch taking the win comfortably, 34 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Out of the car climbs Maximilian Buch. He and Dominic Baumann embrace, and they are no doubt very satisfied with their win. They've got a long time to wait before the rest of the podium cars come in. Here come the two AF Corsa Ferraris. You need to move out of the way, chaps, so you're going to get hit. But into the pits comes Ardagna Perez. I think he's going to be very satisfied indeed, him and Giuseppe Ciro, because yesterday they finished down in 10th position. Let's hear from Maximilian Buch and Dominic Baumann. They're down there in Parc Fermé with Haley Coxon.
Max, congratulations. What a performance in the Mercedes. What was the secret to your advantage?
I think the first stint of Dominic, because he was driving very clever, saved so much tire that I could push to my stint at the beginning and, yeah, drive it home.
Thank you.
So that's the key, going easy in the first stint to make these tyres last. Not like in GT1 where you're changing tyres at the halfway stage. You really need to take good care of these. Let's have a look at the classifications then. Mercedes winning, 2 Ferrari 458s on the second 2 spots on the podium. That's going to be interesting for GT1 coming up later today. Audi R8s in 4th position, 5th place for the second Heiko Motorsport Mercedes-Benz SLS. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed actually that Max Nielsen couldn't finish a little bit higher up than that. A quiet race today for the Lamborghinis down in 8th and 9th. We saw such excitement, such fantastic racing with them yesterday, but not really performing quite as strongly today, the Rhinos Lipo Motorsport cars. And of course we had that one retirement 17 laps from the end. It looks as though there was damage to that front right of the Russian Bear Motorsport car, which is a bit strange because we didn't see it in any incident.
No, we didn't. I mean, I did see it happen last year at an event, I think it might have been in Portimao, when the 458 was in its infancy. So that again was looked like a suspension failure of some part in the front suspension.
Bernard Gendre, as you can see, handing over the trophies to our winners, Dominic Baumann and Maximilian Buch. Delighted to be on the top step of the podium. And the AF Corsa drivers noticeably delighted too. FIA GT3 Europe returns in 2 weeks' time from Zolder. We'll see you then.